morning, everybody. This is Lorraine.
And Jennifer.
And are you thinking about going to a conference this fall?
I don't know. I think I got to think about why I would want to go to a conference first before I decide which conference I'm going to go to.
Absolutely. And I know the show title is what market or what conferences should you attend? But the big answer to that question is what are you trying to accomplish? And I think that will guide where you go. So, what are some of the reasons that you go to conferences?
So I think of two different reasons. Either A, I'm trying to learn more, and so I'm trying to get more industry information, and I want to be amongst my peers. And so I think of that. I do go to a conference typically in October that is of other digital agency owners. And so I'm trying to learn from other agency owners how they do things versus how I do. It's more of an intimate type situation. And then the other situation I think about is I want to grow my business. What kind of conferences should I go to in order to grow my business?
And those are two very or can be very different kinds of events. I always loved when I was in more of a corporate role, I loved the industry trade shows and big conferences around the industry because not only would I meet people from my competitors, there was, as you said, those information sessions where you learn a lot from the speakers, but you also learn from the other attendees because as you're both listening to it, you're like, yeah, that doesn't work. Oh, yes, I tried that. And here's how that worked for me.
You get out of your own echo chamber
Mhm.
where you're just like, oh, well, I've only done it that way. And, yeah, listening to other people, I'm like, oh, or even, I'm like, yeah, that's why I wouldn't want to do it that way, because they said it that way. Not that you're in there like saying, well, you suck. There's 50 million ways to run a business. Trust me. I feel like there is.
Well, and one of the things that I think, one of the values of going to conferences and events is the people that you meet. The
Yeah.
whether it is other practitioners in your industry, maybe it is service providers for things that you maybe never thought about using those
Yeah.
services. I really enjoyed. I went to She Podcast in 2019 before the pandemic
Hmm.
and met a number, not just the podcast hosts, but met a number of the people from the different podcasting software companies. Got a
Yeah.
chance to talk to them and explore these different tools and learn different ways of using what I had or doing something totally different.
Yeah, yeah, so you gotta take those notes. I think you come back from a conference and you're, like, decompressing, like, you probably got takeaways within the first couple hours, and the rest of it, like, you don't need to come back and, like, immediately implement on those type of conferences because that's just a disaster when you try to implement too much stuff. Trust me, I've tried it, it doesn't work.
And that's a really good point. When you go to a conference, one of the challenges is you come back, you've been out of your business for 2 days, 3 days, and you have the pressure of everything that has stacked up while you were gone
Mhm.
and everything that you want to do. And
Do.
I I would make an appointment with yourself, not your first day back, but your second day to just get through the chaos from day one, and then spend an hour or two going through everything and making decisions on now, later, or never.
You'll laugh. I actually translate this into my project management system, and I have a project called Jennifer Denny. And in that project is like things that I want to do. And I kind of arbitrarily will like come out of a conference and set dates looking at when I want to do that. And then I'm just like looking, oh yeah, I missed that one. I missed that one. Like, and like I project manage myself.
You know what I do? I when I find something I want to look at, but I don't want to deal with it right now, I put it in my project. In my project management software. Um, and I put a date on it. And usually the task that I assign myself is reevaluate this and see if it still makes sense.
Yeah. So
Uh, I push them out. I don't let the
mhm.
haunt me. I go, okay, not ready
Not
now.
now. I moved the due date. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So on the other side, there are conferences that you hope to maybe help grow your business and choosing what kind of conferences to attend and should I have a booth there? What do you think about that?
So if you are considering having a booth at a conference, I almost always tell clients the first year, go to the conference. Don't get a booth the first year because you don't really know anything about the event. Kind
Mhm.
of get a sense of the lay of the land. Walk the aisles, see what your competitors are doing. Watch the attendees. Are they interacting with the people in the booths? Is there enough time? Because I've seen a lot of conferences where people have spent money to be at the conference, and two things happen. Number one, the booths are in a bad location where they're not really integrated with the conference. So people have to leave to come back.
Yeah.
And the timing is not good. So either you miss the breakouts
Yeah.
because you're in there. So you want to look at the schedule. You want
Mhm.
to look at the layout of the conference. You want to look at how integrated it is. Do they put the cocktail hour in the trade show area? So those are all considerations that I really look at before I'm like, man, gonna jump in and be an exhibitor year one.
Yeah, and are you prepared to be an exhibitor? Do you have promotional products? Do you have a skirt? Do you have handouts? Have you thought about how you're going to maybe collect emails while you're at a conference for follow up? Like, there's a lot you have to kind of think through so that you're not just showing up there and like, well, let's just see what happens.
Now, you need to have a strategy. Well, you need to have a strategy for what is the booth going to look like? What's the interaction going to be? What's your objective? Are you looking to get a lot of email addresses? Are you looking for half a dozen great high quality conversations? Different businesses will have different objectives. And then you need to have a strategy of how you're going to connect with everyone after the conference. And you need to really do it. Your follow-up email or your follow-up postcard or whatever you're sending, week to 10 days, people, that's it. After that,
Yeah.
the magic is gone.
Yeah, LinkedIn connections,
Hmm.
like, immediately after, that I always think of that one's, like, start with a connection and then maybe something else, at the event. I did recently I just had an iPad up with, a QR code to be able to sign up, not for the newsletter, sign up for a free digital marketing analysis.
Absolutely.
And so that's how we, grew some email lists that way.
The funny thing is, I was at a conference one time, and their follow-up system was a little too good. Um,
You knew it because of a marketer.
well, and when I say it was a little too good, we were in this transition between cell phones and office phones and cell phones. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so you filled out, with, filled out a form, or they were entering your information into their database in real time, and it pinged their system, and their system turned around and called you and thanked you for being,
Mm,
dropping by the booth.
yeah.
The problem was, they had, in their mind, they thought, well, the person is standing there, we're going to leave the message on their office phone. But I had used my cell phone instead of my office number. It rang while we were standing in the booth. You might want
Oh,
to just slow this down a little bit.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but it
So
was a great system.
yeah. So, I mean, there are a couple. I'll just give a couple podcast or not podcasts, but I'm sitting here thinking of the next thing I have to do, conferences. And, I know HubSpot is happening right now or getting ready to happen next week. Not one that I've attended, but one I would think would be a good one. Content Marketing World, is coming up. I think that that's probably these would be all, like, industry ones. I saw a service industry in Kentucky. I was like, "Well, okay." Like, we typically do a lot of service industry. That might be a nice one to attend. There is a marketing conference, AI Marketing Institute put on last year, that I'm like, maybe I should have been at that one." It was in I also look at location, like how close is it to where I'm located? I don't wanna buy plane tickets, like Social Media Marketing World is all the way out in California, unless I'm gonna, like, make it a vacation too.
Well, and that's the other thing. Either I always look at the location, is it someplace I want to be? I also, and for a lot of people, I will apply to be a speaker because
Yeah.
even if you just have a little bit of a breakout and it's a small audience, it gives you a role at that conference.
Yeah, there seems to be that seems to be hidden anymore. Like, I feel like on a lot of conferences, they don't put that out there, or they announce it and then, like, so it's announced way in advance about being a speaker. Speaker is the best way to go if you're trying to get exposure for sure. And don't be selling your brand or your product. That's a byproduct. Like, come there to educate.
Absolutely. So we're going to start making our conference plans, and you probably should be making yours. So maybe we wrap here, put a pin in it, and we'll see you next week.
All right, take care.
Bye now.